Eurocup taking place this weekend at the Red Bull Ring in Austria. Here, at the foot of the Alps, the battle for the title within the Renault Sport Racing School of Champions is full on before the summer break. We're going along the pit lane right now, and on the screen at the moment, car number 9, Max Defoni, on pole position. Max putting in a fabulous performance yesterday in qualifying. We'll talk a bit about that in just a moment. After last week's action at the Nürburgring, we've come to yet another emblematic F1 circuit. With the green Austrian foothills as the backdrop here, all the contenders will be trying to head off on holidays on a high note. Well, last weekend with his win at the Nürburgring, Robert Schwartzman of Race GP reclaimed the lead in the Formula Renault Eurocup for the first time since Monza. Nevertheless, the Russian is closely followed by another winner in Germany, Sascha Fenestraz from Joseph Kaufmann Racing, along with former championship leader Will Palmer of Race GP, who is keen to return to the top spot if he possibly can. All three are relying on their experience in Austria to take a psychological and points advantage over their rivals before the summer break, but they can't afford to underestimate Max Defoni, who, as we said just a moment ago, is on pole position. A year ago, the Belgian barely lost out to Lando Norris at the conclusion of a fantastic duel here. Still looking for his first win this season, the Belgian driver's very highly motivated to make up ground on the leading trio. Proof in the pudding is the fact that he's starting from pole in today's race. Crowds looking down there across the hills. What a magnificent picture as we look across the Red Bull Ring and the cars lining up on the track with those grid girls marking the position for the different cars out there. The winner among the rookies for the first time in Budapest and claiming his first podium result this past weekend at the Nürburgring was the Chinese driver Yifei Ye of Joseph Kaufmann Racing. He'll be aiming even higher this weekend. The Red Bull Ring is a new circuit for the Chinese driver, as it is also for Renault Sport Academy member Max Fertrol and Alex Peroni from Fortec Motorsport, still in contention in the general classification. Looking back at yesterday's action here at the Red Bull Ring, while Sascha Fenestraz dominated the two Formula Renault Eurocup collective tests, Max Defoni was quicker in qualifying to take the pole position for race 1 at the Red Bull Ring. Today, the Belgian driver is starting from pole for the second time this season, ahead of Renault Sport Academy driver Max Fertrol and Sascha Fenestraz. In yesterday's free practice, several drivers had the top spot early on what was really very much a green track following heavy overnight storms. Will Palmer led the way heading into the final sprint initiated by Sascha Fenestraz. The Frenchman then improved to set the fastest lap of the morning. The pace picked up in the afternoon. After another busy start to a session, Sascha Fenestraz lowered the benchmark time for the morning session. The French driver finished on top at the timesheet in a session prematurely interrupted by the stoppage of Alexis Cornive. His lap of 1:28.774 saw him to the top spot ahead of Will Palmer, Yifei Ye, Gabriel Aubry and Max Defoni. Looking back at qualifying, the first group on track is the first qualifying session. Max Fertrol posted the best time in 1:28.962 ahead of Will Palmer and Robert Schwartzman. In the second group, the duel between Max Defoni and Sascha Fenestraz saw both improve on the British driver's reference time. And thanks to his lap of 1:28.793 yesterday, Max Defoni starts from pole position ahead of Max Fertrol, Sascha Fenestraz, Will Palmer, Daniel Tichtem of Arden Motorsport, and the leader of the general classification, Robert Schwartzman, back a little bit further on the grid. This morning, the drivers took part in a second qualifying session at 11:10 a.m. As they start to clear the track, the weather here at the moment quite hot at the Red Bull Ring. We're seeing a current temperature of about 33 degrees. It feels a little bit hotter, though, according to the Weather Bureau. Winds from the west swinging around to the north, 6 or 7 kilometers per hour. Barometric pressure 1,014 millibars and rising. About 44% cloud, and there's a chance, so says the Weather Bureau, of some rain coming up in the next hour or so. We'll cross our fingers for the next half hour that we don't get any rain during this race as they prepare to head out for the formation lap. 15 seconds flag. And the whistle is blowing. Going down through the grid positions, Max Defoni in first position on the grid in car number 9, RACE GP. Alongside him, Max Fertrol Tech 1 Racing, as we see a beautiful picture of a glider coming into the airport just next to us here at the track. And look at that fantastic picture as well, rising up over the green hills, as we said, of the foothills here in Austria next to the Red Bull Ring. Really a fantastic area if you're here for the races, to get out and look at some of the surrounding towns and villages and those beautiful countryside around here as well. In third position on the grid, Joseph Kaufmann Racing's Sascha Fenestras. As we said, Fenestras putting in some brilliant performances in the earlier practice. And he's followed on the grid by Will Palmer, also on second line in car number 8. On the third line, we have Daniel Tichtum, car number 33 from Arden Racing. Alongside him, Robert Schwartzman, the current championship leader in car number 10. Robert looks like he's going to be dropping down if he doesn't get up through the points, get up through the positions in this race. Just behind him, the Australian driver Thomas Randall in car number 16, AVF by Adrian Velez. On the fourth row, alongside him, Gabriel Aubry, Tech 1 Racing in car number 4. Enrique Chavez, car number 13 on the fifth line. Next to him is car number 1, Yifei, Joseph Kaufmann Racing. Alex Peroni, the Aussie driver, in car number 17 on the sixth line on the grid, and next to him, the Russian driver Alexei Konev from Fortec Motorsports in car number 18. On the seventh row on the grid, it's Tech 1 Racing, Thomas Neubauer in car number 6, and alongside him, Robert Virtshaw, car number 29. On the ninth row of the grid, it's Jano Opmeer of MP Motorsport in car number 13. Alongside him, car number 15, Alex Mattes, AVF by Adrian Velez. Lewis Leeds, Joseph Kaufmann Racing in car number 2 on the 10th line on the grid. Alongside him, Presley Martineau, the Indonesian driver from Burdett Motorsport in car number 26. On the 11th row, Fortec Motorsport, car number 20, Najee Razak, the Malaysian driver. And next to him, the Arden Racing car of Zane Goddard, car number 93. The Aussie drivers, well, 5 Aussie drivers, we keep saying. So that's very nice for the Australians, who make up the biggest part of the pack, with 5 drivers. Jean-Baptiste Simenauer in JD Motorsport, car number 22. On the 12th row of the grid, alongside him, Ghislaine Cordel of Arden Racing in car number 34. 13th line on the grid, Sun Yu Yang, the Chinese driver of JD Motorsport, car number 31. Frank Bird alongside him in car number 19. Second last line on the grid, the 14th row, it's Neil Verhagen in MP Motorsport, car number 31. Raul Guzman, car number 12, alongside in RAce GP, car number 12. And on the final line on the grid, as they line up for the start, it's Xavier Lovaras from AVS by Adrian Velez in car number 14, and Julia Pankovic, the Mark Burdett's Motorsports, the only female driver on the pack, and that's car number 25 on the last row of the grid. Standing by for a start. These hot conditions here as the drivers swelter in their cockpits, hoping for some cool air coming in as they go out through those first corners, the Castrol Edge, and down into the second straight. They're off to a clear start, and they're racing towards the first corner. Coming through, it looks like we've got Fertrell going through on the inside. Fertrell goes through ahead of De Forny by the look of things. A lot of cars going on the outside, but it's Fertrell passed through De Forny. Fertrell leading the pack in car number 9 ahead of car number 7. A sneaky move through that first turn as they go to turn 2. And it's De Forny, Max De Forny in car number 9 in second place, with the rookie driver Max Fertrell in car number 7 pulling away in the lead already. What a fantastic start for Max Fertrell, the Renault Sport Academy driver. Now we've got Palmer going on the outside, attacking De Forny. Palmer on the outside, looking for a gap. Palmer now on the inside, right behind De Forny. Watch for this second place of De Forny. He's trying to keep the pressure off, but Palmer is really keeping the pressure on the second line. De Forny battling as he can to keep the pressure off. Plenty happening further back in the pack. It's Max Fertrell leading, pulling away from the rest of the pack as they're battling further back. Fertrell now a good second and a half by the look of things as they go through. Turns 5 and 6, very, very fast section of the track back through to the start-finish straight. It's Fertrell leading by a good margin now from the rest of the pack, almost 0.7 of a second ahead of Max de Forny, 0.0691 seconds. They're followed by Fenestraz in third position, then Will Palmer. Fenestraz getting through past Palmer into third position, and Daniel Tichtum, the other rookie, in car number 33 in fifth position. Further back in the pack, it's very tight going through those first corners. Going through turn one, now they're going through the top section now, downhill into Schlossgold. Turn 3 and into the Audi Ultra corner, with Fenestraz trying to get back around Will Palmer. Fenestraz in car number 11. Trying to get through past de Forny in car number 9 in second position. The battle for second continuing. Sascha Fenestraz in the green and black car number 11, right behind de Forny in car number 9. Attack further back in the pack as well. 25 laps as they come back down through the start-finish straight. Max Fertrell now leading by 1.068 seconds ahead of Max de Forny. Sascha Fenestraz in third position, followed by car number 8, Will Palmer, and in fifth position, car number 33 of Daniel Tichtum, followed by Robert Schwartzman in car number 10 in sixth position. Not so good for Schwartzman, a little bit further back in the pack, and what's going to happen to him in the championship, with currently Schwartzman in the number 1 position. But Fenestraz in second position, now 3 to 4 places ahead of Schwartzman. Looks like he's going to move up into the top position in the championship. Reminder that Schwartzman and Fenestraz took the top positions away from Will Palmer in the last couple of races at the Nürburgring, with Schwartzman putting in a win at race 12 and Fenestraz winning the last race of the weekend in the Nürburgring. Battle still on for second place, with Fenestraz keeping the pressure on de Forny. Just behind him, keeping the pressure on. Sascha Fenestraz not happy being back in third position. He wants to get back up and perhaps into the number 1 position on the table. Looks like he might just well do that this race as well. Max Fertrell prancing out in the lead. Really a very easy run for him. Further back, a lot of action happening as well. That's Palmer attacking Tichtum, and we've had an impact going through on the corner. It's really getting very rough going through the corners now, with those cars battling for 4th position, 5th position. That's car number 33, Tichtum, keeping the pressure off. Behind Tichtum, we've got Randall, Schwartzman, Palmer and Aubrey all going hell for leather. What an incredible pack going through there. They're all tussling for that 4th position. Tichtum, the rookie, in car number 33, keeping off the pressure of Randall. Tichtum now taking a bit of a gap. Randall under pressure. Randall on the outside. That's Schwartzman backing off. Tough going for the cars going through there. That's Pironi as well, side by side, with Aubrey and Chavez in the pack as well. This is where the action's happening. The battle for 4th position, with Daniel Tichtum in car number 33 now taking a little bit of a gap back from Randall. Randall, Aubrey, Schwartzman and Pironi all battling side by side. That's still all happening. Will Palmer in car number 8, attacking. He wants to get back up and get back to the top of the table. It's not going to happen in this race, Will. Will under attack. Going off the side, several cars off. That's car number 17, Pironi, spinning. He's looking like he's getting back onto the track, though. Alex Peroni losing a whole bunch of places in that spin-off. And that was around turn 1. Max Fertrell leading by a good margin now, coming through, putting in excellent lap times as well, although Deforney starting to catch up a little bit. A replay of that last spin, a couple of cars going off. That's Peroni managing to get back into the running. Peroni dropping back a whole bunch of places in the action there. And another one's off into the dust. Can't see who it is at this point. There's gravel on the track. That's going to make things very difficult for the following cars. That's going to be a really tricky section coming back through there. That looked like it was on the downhill area around Schlossgold. Max Fertrell leading the pack from Max Deforney, Fenestras, Ticktum, Randall and Aubrey. Just over 1 second gap back to Deforney. Deforney starting to catch up now on Max Fertrell. Fenestras in third position, also really keeping the pressure on Deforney. We're going to see some action happening in the next couple of laps between those leading cars. Deforney now putting in a really quick lap there. But Fenestras putting in a very, very fast lap with 1:30.370. And he's right up behind Deforney at the moment as well. Fastest lap from Sasha Fenestras, as we were just saying, in the last lap. 1:30.009. That's Will Palmer locking up, going through the Schlossgold downhill and through corner 3, heading towards the Audi Ultra. Action happening further back in the pack, with Neubauer battling with Opmeer. Reminder as well that after the last round, it was announced that the top 6 in the classification are going to be getting a close look at Formula One next weekend. A bunch of these drivers are going to be heading to the Hungarian Formula One Grand Prix. Looks like Will Palmer, Robert Schwartzman, Sasha Fenestras, Gabriel Aubry, Max Deforney and Daniel Ticktum will be getting a ticket to the Grand Prix weekend in Hungary, because they were the top 6 in the classification. An attack happening further back in the pack. That's Deforney going through. Another off-road sortie. Fastest lap from Max Deforney yet again under 1:30. Max Deforney putting in a 1:29.922. Deforney now in second position. Deforney second, putting the pressure on Max Fertrell, with Fenestras in third position in car number 11. And they're running off all over the place at the moment. Those corners very tricky here at the Red Bull Ring. In the lead, Max Fertrell, followed by Max Deforney, cutting down the lead now, 0.914 seconds back to Max Deforney, followed by Fenestras, 1.986 behind the leader. Deforney putting the pressure on. Although Deforney's last lap not so good, Fertrell managing to break away a little bit. The attack's on for second place. That's Fenestras. Further back in the pack as well. Action happening. And they go on the outside. On the inside as well, but not getting through. A tight pack further back for fourth position. Daniel Ticktum in car number 33. Still keeping off the pressure from Randall, Aubrey, Schwartzman and Chavez. Will Palmer. Palmer currently back in 11th position, having dropped back a few. Currently Fotro leading from De Forny and Fenestras, followed by Ticktum in 4th position. Followed by Maxwell. Thomas Maxwell in car number 5, keeping the pressure on Will Palmer. Maxwell coming out on the inside. Will he get through? Palmer taking the race line and keeping him off. Palmer and Maxwell battling for the 11th position. Will Palmer, it's a pretty upsetting race, having fallen down from the top of the table in the last weekend, and this time that back in 11th position, now under a lot of pressure from Thomas Maxwell. Just behind. Maxwell, the Australian, touted as Australia's hottest Formula One prospect, hailing from Darwin. We haven't seen too much action from Thomas. He's going back on the outside down the start-finish straight into turn 1. Is Maxwell going to get through? No, he's not. Will Palmer under a lot of pressure from Maxwell. Behind Maxwell, we can see also quite a bit of action happening from Corneve and Matus. Matus and Corneve toing and froing. Corneve going on the attack. That's Matus going on the attack. Even the blue and white car with two cars battling just behind. Matters and Otmir, two rookies. The beautiful hills of Austria in the background. All the action happening further back in the pack as Max Furtwell starts to dig a gap again from De Forny. Putting in a good lap in the last lap. De Forny 130.95, now 131.522, with Furtrell on 130.040. We're going to have the leading car of Max Furtrell shortly, perhaps catching up on the tail ender. That's Ghislaine Cordil in car number 34 as they come down through the Audi Ultra and the Lauda corner. Car number 34, the tail ender is going to be perhaps in the way of car number 7. That's going to really throw a cat among the pigeons as the leading pack now comes through into the Rindt corner, corner number 7. Further back, a lot of action happening as well, as we can see on the screen. Just under 9 minutes left to run. A replay of that last action. Max Fertrell continuing to lead. Going down the start finish straight, now into the second straight, going into corner 2. And we have a car immobilized on the track. Incident with car number 15. And that'll be apparently investigated after the race. We have a yellow flag at turn 5, apparently. 6.5 minutes left to run. Yellow flag on one of the turns with the car immobilized. I'm not sure if he's gotten back into the running yet. You can see on the screen the area immobilized with that yellow flag. It's just after turn 3 and before turn 4. Car on the inside of the track, not really in a position that's dangerous for the other drivers, but it's always dangerous nevertheless to a certain extent. Fertrell continuing to lead. By now just 0.571 seconds ahead of Max Deforny, with 6.5 minutes plus 1 left to run. Can Deforny catch back up on the leader and go for the number 1 position? Sasha Fenestra is in 3rd position now, a good 2.181 seconds behind. No problems for the second position, but 1st position soon going to be coming under pressure. There we have Will Palmer still under pressure from Thomas Maxwell. Further back, now we can see the leaders again, Fertrell and Deforny. Deforny right up behind Fertrell now, as they come down through and into corner 4. Car number 7, Fertrell, followed by Deforny. And just in front of them, we're going to be seeing another car, which is car number 34. Car of Ghislaine Cordille. You can see him there. And both of these cars are going to have to get around car number 34 in just a couple of moments' time, as they're lapping a lot faster. Ghislaine Cordille lapping at 1:31.684 seconds. The leaders lapping at around 1:30, 1:31. We have an attack a little bit further back on car number 25. That's Pankovic. She's moved up a few spots on the table, as Loveras and Cordille and Matus have dropped down. Matus out of the running. Five minutes left to run. Car number 7 under pressure. It looks like Deforny's going through. Will Deforny get the lead? Deforny attacking now Fertrell. Deforny is right up behind Fertrell in car number 7. Max Deforny really putting on the pressure. We've still got 4 minutes left to run. Deforny going on the outside. Deforny, will he get through? They're going through on corner 3. Now down into the Audi Ultra corner. Max Deforny right behind the leader. Deforny putting on the pressure. Will Deforny go through and take the win from Max Fertrell, the rookie driver in the leading position? Max Deforny starting from pole, having his position taken away by Fertrell. Now he wants to get that position back. Four minutes left to run. Fertrell still leading from Deforny by a very, very narrow margin. Deforny right behind. Going through the start-finish straight. The leading cars coming through. Deforny keeping a little bit of distance. He's going to be catching back up through those very fast corners. The Schlossgold downhill. Then corners 5 and 6, where he's very, very fast. He'll be putting the pressure back on. Car number 7 in the lead, with Deforney right behind. Max Deforney. Deforney, of course, putting in some brilliant performances in some of the last races. He's been with that team a few years now. He was third in last year's Eurocup FR2 series and second in the NEC. Car slowing and stopped on the side there. Not sure whether that was a car slowing down to let them past. Deforney on the outside now, attacking, no, going through past car number 5. That's not Deforney. Car number 15, beg your pardon. That's the battle a bit further back. Mattis in car number 15 out of the running. Cordeal in car 34 being lapped. Car 7 now leading as they go through the downhill section into Sloshgold. Max Deforney keeping the pressure on. He went on the attack a couple of times, not quite getting through. Max Fertrell defending his position. Fertrell putting in some good lap times. 1.5 minutes left to run, with Fertrell keeping the lead from Max Deforney. Switch of position with Verhagen going through, passing Yu Yang. Further back in the pack, Sun Yu Yang is in 20th position. Verhagen going up into 19th. As we're back with the leaders, car number 7, Max Fertrell in the leading position, the rookie. Under a lot of pressure from Deforney, coming back through again. This is the section, the downhill to the Sloshgold. Deforney putting on the pressure, going on the outside. He's got just one lap to go. Will Deforney go on the attack in the last lap on Max Fertrell? Fertrell, who took his number 1 position away just after the start. Deforney wanting to get back into that number 1 position, but will he get it in the last lap? That's the question we're asking ourselves as further back in the pack. A lot of action happening now as well, with this side-by-side racing continuing. Beautiful racing further back in the pack. It looks like Lewis leads. Lewis leads back in the middle of the pack, 17th position, with Neubauer. Neubauer in car number 6, putting the pressure on Leeds as they go through for the final lap. This is where we're going to see perhaps the attack from Deforney as they come around through turn 1 into turn 2 along that very fast straight. Through the Remus, that's the hardest braking point on the circuit. Now a very fast downhill section. Fertrell digging a gap on Deforney. Deforney will be catching up again through those next sections. Now an attack from Fenestraz on the outside of Deforney. That's an eye-opener. Fenestraz now going on the inside of Deforny. Fenestraz now going for second position. Deforny was putting on the pressure for first. Now Fenestraz has gone through. Fenestraz now getting that position taken away from him. No, Fenestraz will hang on to it. Fenestraz gone through into second position in the last lap ahead of Max Deforny. What an amazing passing maneuver from Fenestraz in that very last section of this lap. It's Max Fertrell now coming through to take the win. Fenestraz sneaking through into second position. Deforny starting from first position on the grid and now back in third. Fenestraz a very tricky second position as one car off on the side. The green flag as they come through past the start-finish line. It's going to be Max Fertrell ahead of Fenestraz and Deforny in third position. What an amazing last lap of this race with Deforny getting his position taken away. We thought he was going to go through into first. And there he had his second position taken away by Fenestraz. That was a surprise. A very, very surprising end to the race as we have a glimpse of Will Palmer now back in 12th position with Corneve ahead of him. Palmer not putting in a good race at all. Will Palmer, the former championship leader right up to the last race weekend at the Nürburgring, finishing this race in 12th position. That's going to make it a little bit difficult for him to get back up to the top of the table as he'd been hoping for. Fertrell, the rookie, going through and taking a brilliant win here in the Red Bull Ring. Max Fertrell from the Renault Sport Academy. One of three drivers, of course, from Renault Sport Academy racing this weekend, along with Sun Yu Yang and Jano Opmeer. And they'll be having a party, I think, at the Renault Sport Academy this weekend, well, at least tonight, with that rookie driver going through and taking a brilliant win. Fertrell on the podium a couple of times already this year. Or just off the podium, and now finally taking a win. Who's on the podium, in fact, in Nürburgring on the second race. Max Fertrell, Tech 1 Racing, the winner of this first race here at the Red Bull Ring, and he's going to be very, very happy indeed. The cars are coming back into the pit lane, and they're going to be rushed off because there's another race happening just after that. So unfortunately, on our viewers will not get to see the podium, but we'll see it perhaps a bit later on in the news as the drivers come in and prepare to be congratulated by the teams. And what a brilliant performance from Fertrell, but what also a brilliant performance from Fenestraz, going through in the last moments and just pipping Deforny, who must be absolutely fuming at the moment because in the last few races he's been the one going on the attack, and in this race he's really been taken by surprise in that last lap. Fertrell being congratulated by the entire team. Back in the pit lane. The win from Max Fertrell ahead of Sasha Fenestraz in car number 11. In third place, Max Deforny, who did start from pole position. Daniel Tichtum in car number 33 came in fourth, having held off some absolutely savage attacks all the way through. Here we've got the classification table on our screens, and Thomas Randall from AVF by Adrian Vallis Racing in fifth position. A good performance from him as well. And Alexander Vartanyan, also a good performance for him. Explaining the way the race went as we take a look back at the race that was. And off to a relatively clear start, although one on the grid was car number 34, I do believe. Deal. And in those those first moments. Seeing an attack and Fertrell getting through into the leading position, having started from second on the grid. Several runoffs as well throughout the race, but more action happening well further back as Palmer, the former championship leader, was holding off battles, as was Daniel Tichtum in fourth position. An incredible battle for fourth, with a great deal of toing and froing and some spins as well. Their car number 17. That's, of course, Alex Speroni, the Australian driver, spinning off. Car number 15 as well, running into problems, as Max Fertrell held his own in the lead for this first race of the Eurocup Formula Renault here at the Red Bull Ring. The battle then happening for second place between Deforny and Fenestraz. And finally, Fenestraz going through and taking the second position from Deforny. And that's the way it finished, with Fertrell, Fenestraz and Deforny taking the top three positions here at the Red Bull Ring. And unfortunately, we will be cutting the program a little bit short because the next race is coming up. And so with that, we say farewell until tomorrow morning, when we'll be back for the second race of the weekend here at the beautiful Red Bull Ring at the foot of the Alps in Austria. Until then, bye-bye.